Hey everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to make borax crystals that you can use. I guess they use them in costume jewelry, they use them for science fairs and stuff like that. So you might be used to the regular crystals that you used to see as a kid, almost like rock candy. You boil water, you put salt or sugar in it, and then you leave it, and as the water evaporates, it leaves behind all of these crystals. Now this takes a long time. I've had this in the water for 3 or 4 days. So this is the old way of doing it, and you can see it looks pretty cool. There's a lot of crystals on there. It's pretty cool to look at. Whatever, you can use it. A lot of kids used to do this in the science fair when I was little, so that was like how I learned about it in elementary school. But this takes probably about a good week until it's done. Now the new way to do it is you take that boiling water and instead, but first let me just tell you what you're going to need if you want to make it. So you would need borax. Instead of using salt, you're going to use borax, which a lot of people would know. You put it in your laundry, you could clean with it. It's a cleaner. So these obviously would not be edible like the sugar ones would when you make hard candy. So that's just something to keep in mind. This you can't eat these. Make sure you don't, because it would be like eating detergent. It would be poisonous. So make sure you don't eat them. And if you're gonna make them, you're gonna need adult supervision, because you do need boiling water. So the old way of doing it was you boiled water and you dump some salt in there or sugar, you let it dissolve, and then you hung a string in it, and as the water dissolved, it left behind the salt crystals or the sugar crystals, and that's the one that I just showed you. So the borax one, this is the first time I'm making it, but I've seen it all over Pinterest, I've seen it on Etsy, I've seen it on everything. I've seen videos of it on YouTube. Does it work? Does it not work? Some people say it's fake. So I figured I would give it a try. I bought the borax on Amazon. It's like $8 for that big box, and you can also use it in your laundry and to clean and all this other stuff. They don't pay me, so it's not a product placement. It's just you're gonna need it if you want to do this. So the borax is gonna be in place of the salt or the sugar that you would use for the traditional ones. So what you're gonna need is boiling water. And then you're just gonna add the borax to that water until it's super concentrate. So that means you're gonna add it in there, you're gonna mix it up. After you mix it for a while, if you notice that there's no accumulation of it on the bottom of your container, like right now you can see it's mixing pretty well. You can see there's a tiny bit of accumulation on the bottom, but it's really not that much. That means I can put more in here. So now I'm going to dump a little bit more in there, and I'm just going to keep mixing it until it's all, whoa, that was a lot. All right, so I'm just going to keep mixing it until it's all blended in there and you can't add any more. And you'll know that the water's going to turn a little bit white like that. It's going to get cloudy. You're going to see on the bottom there that there's not like a ton of it hanging out on the bottom there. That means that it's pretty well incorporated in there. Now some people do like a cup of water and a quarter cup of borax. I'm gonna do it until I don't see any more hanging out on the bottom there, which like right now it looks pretty clear. So now I'm gonna add a little bit more. And I'm just gonna keep adding it until it's so absorbed into that water that it won't, no more will absorb in there. So I'm gonna do it again, mixing it up. And you could see it gets very milky and very cloudy. And now I think it's actually pretty good. Yeah, because I could see that it's not, I could see that there's actual like granules in there now, which means it's not going to absorb any more of that borax. So now it's as concentrated as it can be. So now at this point, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add coloring to it. Unless you just want like a boring white, almost see-through crystal. But we're gonna add, what color should we make it? Let's do like a blue and a red. Make it like almost like a purple. So let's do, and the more food coloring that you put, the deeper the color is going to be of the crystal. So I put 15 or 16 blue, and then I'm just gonna put like maybe 6 more red. Okay, oops, I lied, I did like 12. All right, now you're gonna mix that up just to make sure that, you know, your crystal has a lot of color in it. Because if you don't put a lot of dye in it, the crystal's not gonna pick up that extra color. So now I'm just kind of mixing that around right there. So now another thing that you're gonna need is pipe cleaners, because you want to make a base for the crystals to grow on, and then you're gonna suspend it in a cup of this solution. So I just want to show you, all I did was I just took these pipe cleaners that I had left over from another project that I did. I took them and I just bent them into shapes. So I don't know if it has to be like a certain shape or whatever. I doubt that it does, because the crystals should just grab onto those little hairs and start growing. But this one I just kind of made like a weird little shape to it, and that's going to be the base, and then I'm going to hang it in the cup like that, and then the crystals should just grow out from that. And then I did another one here. I just did like a different shape. It almost looks like a tree. Just to see what works and what doesn't work, and how they actually come out. Like, does it spread along there and you see those spaces in the middle, or is it just going to be a big blob? So, and then what you're going to do is you're going to mix that together, and then you're going to take your cup, you're going to fill it with the solution, and then you're going to suspend that in the... You're going to suspend your little base right there in that solution. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to mix this up again. I see a lot of that stuff sitting at the bottom. See all that stuff sitting at the bottom there? That means that it's like as concentrated as it can be. It won't pick up any more of that stuff. So now I know that I'm ready. So I'm just mixing it, mixing it, mixing it. And now I am going to fill my cup. I'm going to put... I also made this one that almost looks like it looks like a pair of glasses. I don't know if that would be cool or if it's just going to be a giant blob, but we'll see how they turn out. So I'm going to take maybe this little crooked looking tree. You take them, you get some string, you hang it from. You can use a piece of wood or whatever. I just had these forks and I didn't want to waste them, so I figured why not just use them. It's just going to be holding this up anyhow. So you're going to fill your cup that you're going to suspend it in with that solution. I'm putting all this extra from the bottom in there. And then you're just gonna, once you have your cup filled up, you're just gonna take this guy and you're just gonna dip them. I'm gonna dip them like that, and then I'm just gonna sit them in there. Then you're gonna actually take this and you're gonna put it somewhere where it's not gonna be disturbed. And you're going to put a little cover on them. I'm just using a scrap piece of paper that I already used for some sublimation project. And you're just going to cover him up with that. Now, I'm going to do that again with a different color. And with a different shape thing here. And then I'm going to go get more water. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to set it up. And then we'll conclude with how they turned out. Okay guys, so I have them all poured now. As you can see, I went a little overboard. I made another one over here, kind of like a bigger cup. It was like a little, you probably can't see it now. No, you can't. But it was just like a little circle with a big circle attached to it. And you can see it's just fully submerged under there. So now, after you fill it, you're going to cover it with something. Like I have cardstock here. That one wasn't cooperating, so I smushed it up so it would be a little bit more flat. And this, I actually have cardstock, but I got it wet, but I don't think that matters because I want it to sort of, you know, lay on it to be sort of like a little lid. And this one, don't know if you could see in there or not. You probably can't because I can hardly see it, and I'm sure you're seeing reflections and stuff. But, yeah, so I have those all set up. And now I am going to, you're supposed to wait 12 to 24 hours, so I'm going to leave them here. Nobody comes in this room. It's my guest room. So I'm going to leave them in there until I get home from work tomorrow. So that will be like 24 hours from now. Okay, everybody. So it is the next day now, and I have pulled them all out of their cups. And I dipped them all onto this napkin after I pulled them out just to get all the excess water and dye off of them. And now I just have them laying out. But you could see, so this one here is a little bit weird because you see that big chunk of crystal at the bottom. what happened was it got stuck in this cup. You can see in the cup there's still a bunch of like mush down there, and there's some crystals up the side or whatever. So I didn't give it enough room to hang, so it was touching the bottom of the cup. So everything that was laying in the bottom of the cup wound up stuck to it, stuck to the skeleton. That one was like almost like a heart-shaped type of thing, and it got stuck in the bottom of the cup. This one actually came out pretty cool. I made it in the shape of like a heart on the bottom and then a ring up on the top, and that was in the big cup. You could see inside the big cup there's still a ton of crystals and stuff in there. And you could see in the bottom of the cups where there was extra borax, where it just kind of built up in this. There was so much, it just made a big ton of crystals on the bottom, which got stuck to this one. This is the one that looked just like a Christmas tree. I don't know if it's because it was like the least intricate design, but it has, I think, the least amount of crystals on it out of all of them. But I think it was because that was a very simple design. I didn't know if it was going to spread out between it or just cover it, and now we know it really just covered it. This one, you can see there was like a cage structure in the middle, and it went down basically the whole structure. And then since the structure was touching the bottom of the cup, all the crystals that formed down there got stuck to it. I needed to take like a big spoon and scoop it out just to release it. This one came out, I think, the best. You could see it's got crystals all the way around. You don't even notice the pipe cleaners inside this one. I think it had the best coverage. And it just looks really cool, and it's very like sparkly and stuff. And that's the inside of the cup that I used to do it. And you could see there's still tons of crystals in there. It looks pretty cool. And then this one was supposed to be like a pair of glasses, which actually I think would have worked, except I didn't allow myself enough room, and that one also got stuck to the bottom. Don't know if you could see that little clip down there. I had to clip it off of the edge of this one. It's actually stuck down in there still, but you could see a ton of crystals. And this is just overnight as compared to the ones that you do with like the sugar and stuff. Obviously these, you cannot eat these. They would be poisonous because borax is a cleaner. So don't eat these, and don't leave them around kids, because kids see it and they might think it's candy and try to eat it. But it's really, borax is like an additive for laundry, and it's like a cleaner, so it would be like eating cleaner. So make sure no one's eating this stuff. But you can see it actually came out really cool. I think for one day, I think that's awesome. This one is still leaking a little bit because look at all the sludge down there. So yeah, make sure that you're not overusing the borax, because if you do, it'll, and make sure you're giving yourself enough room. Like this cup is not tall enough to handle it. Like you could see the height of this, and you could see the height of the cup is not tall enough to be able to have it suspended high enough that it's not touching the ground. So make sure that when you hang it, that you, like this one came out good because it had all that extra room. This cup is like twice as tall. And then the Pyrex, of course, this one got stuck to the bottom of it because it was like laying sideways. So there you have it all together. I think that the borax thing is pretty cool, and now people use these as like costume jewelry and all kinds of things. You can make the shape of it, whatever you can imagine, as long as you know you're going to get these kind of different results. So just make sure that you keep that in mind, based off of different designs that you might want to try. And that's pretty much it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it around. If you know anybody who wants to do this like as a science experiment for a craft fair, anything like that. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.